Chapter 3 of Sociology is Culture. In this chapter, we will learn about material and non-material culture and why symbols are an important part of non-material culture, and know about how language advances knowledge. We will also know about 3 American values and explain their importance to American culture, the formal and informal norms, analyze the role subcultures and countercultures can play in social change. Additionally, we will know about the difference between multiculturalism and assimilation, and we will also present an argument about why cultural relativism may honor cultural diversity. In this chapter, also the potential dangers to a society that puts much of its attention toward popular culture is discussed, and the 3 ways technological changes are set into motion, and how globalization changes a culture. First of all, the introduction of a culture. A foreigner in one's own country, like Trump and DACA, the immigrant who have lived in US most of their life, sent back to native country. As you know that the president of America, Trump, he made this allegation that the immigrants who have lived in the US for many years, like they spent most of their lives over there, they were sent back to their native country. So what happened? The adjustment difficulties related to language, symbols, values, and norms. It totally changed. So what is their cultural affinity then? How might we see that how might culture shape our views of the world in terms of customs, language, and belief? For example, we spend most of the life at in one culture, and then we have to live in another culture. The symbolism of football. Culture embodies values. Football, for example, has a great deal of symbolism that represent American values of toughness, resilience, and fierce competition. Like if you compare it with our country, Pakistan, here cricket is considered as the great symbol of toughness, resilience, and fierce competition. The marching bands that often perform at halftime into the fanfare of military battlefield. Can you think of other symbolism that occurs during football games? In the rest of the world, football refers to soccer, which is the most popular sport in the world. And do you know that why it is different from the American football? So, what is culture? Culture is basically the shared language, beliefs, values, norms, behaviors, and material objects that are passed from one generation to the next. And it changes over time and place. It's shaped by institutions, like we discussed in chapter number 2, and frames individual perception of the world. Culture is material and non-material. What exactly comprises culture? When we use the term, do we mean that which falls into the realm of ideas, or something more palpable that we can see, touch? In fact, culture is both material and non-material too. Basically, that are called the components of culture. Material culture is like the items within a society that you can taste, touch, feel, or see. For example, you know the culture of Lahore, the desi food over there, the historical buildings that you see, and the feeling of belongingness over there. And it can vary from culture to culture. The non material culture is that non physical product of society, such as the symbols, language, values, and norms. Vietnamese culture. Vietnamese culture differs from American culture. In Saigon, for example, transportation is heavily by motorbike or scooter, with 7.4 million motorbikes registered to about 8 million residents. Similarly, when Vietnamese people eat meat, their diet relies heavily on fresh fruit and vegetables, which can be bought at markets like the one pictured here. And in the United States, transportation is largely by car, and meat is the central focus of meals. So here is the complete difference of Vietnamese culture and the American culture, due to two on the basis of two things, like the food and the transportation. The first thing that embedded in culture is symbols. It is a material representation that suggests or stands for something. For example, represent abstract or complex concept, meaning determined by individual cultures. Any gesture, specific gestures or symbol made by our bodies, like facial expression, eye contact, body language. The power of symbols. Have you ever seen the symbol shown here? You probably recognize it as the German swastika, a symbol Nazi power used by Adolf Hitler and the Nazi party in the 1920s. Did you know that he actually borrowed that symbol from other cultures? Hindus sees that symbol as a representation of holiness, and to Buddhists, the symbol represents balance and harmony because of its symmetry. This shows that symbols in and of themselves have meaning within a specific social context. Due to its legacy with the Nazis, Westerns view the symbol as a sign of racism and oppression. Indeed, white supremacist groups continue to use the swastika as a symbol of hate. Clearly, symbols have great power. Then comes language. Language is a system of speech and written symbols used to communicate and convey meaning. Population size and colonial history determine number of speakers of a language. Then the cultural transmission, that how you communicate in your culture. Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. It is the difference in structure of language, parallel difference in thinking of people who speak language. Structure of language is strongly influenced speaker's word view. The power of language, gender, and sexuality. Language often operates within a patriarchy, and sexual double standards are also considered here. And language used to label those who don't conform to defined understandings of masculine and feminine. Language basically affects our experiences. Language influences how we perceive things, which in turn influences our experience of the world. Our experiences help play a role in how we develop language, but our use of language also influences our experiences. Think about a well-worn word, cool. What instinct can we draw about our culture on the multiple meaning of this popular word? Like when one person said cool, what do you think about it? When one person say ciao, what do you think? When one person said bonjour, what do you feel about it? So why do people like YouTube star Jake Paul, pictured here, want to be known for being cool? Is it a marketing term companies invented to compel us to buy their product? Why is being cool not as important in other cultures as it is it is in the United States? Then comes values. Values represent the cultural standard that determine good, bad, right or wrong. It basically tells that what is good, what is wrong in one society or culture. It is influenced by society, and it varies within societies too. It includes the value pairs that define in terms of opposites, the value clusters that include two supportive values. The value conflict occurs when values at odds. If we see the American values, Williams determined 15 dominant values, and the two new values that are considered into it are sexuality and romance, and physical fitness and youthfulness. There are two types of culture: ideal culture, that one certainly think about that should be here, and the real culture, the present or active culture. The ideal culture also represents the values to which a culture aspires, and real culture represents a culture's actual behaviors and norms. 15 American values, according to sociologist Robin Williams, are these. It includes the achievement and success, activity and work, moral orientation, humanitarianism, efficiency and practicality, progress, material comfort, equality, freedom, external conformity, science and secular rationality, nationalism, patriotism, democracy, individual personality, racism and related group superiority. There are some global values too, like the values of the individualistic nation and the collectivist nation. It affect how the individual respond and how business respond. Generally speaking, individualist nation values independence and individual needs and desires. Such core values are associated with the European history. In collectivist nation, interdependence is valued over independence, and group goals are valued over individual needs and desires. For example, we can say that the Pakistan is the collectivist nation. Norms, they are the rules that prescribe appropriate behavior based on values. It linked to the situation. Formal norms are the legal things or the laws or sanction. Laws are the most common type of formal norm. They are enforced by negative sanction. A sanction is a prize or punishment you receive when you either abide by a norm or violate it. Norms also includes the folkways and modes. Folkways are the informal norms or custom that are based on the social expectation. For example, if your house has a norm that nobody will enter in the house with the shoes on, so it was considered the bad. Modes hold strong social significance, and its violation result in serious consequences. They are basically the called taboos. Socially unacceptable act considered extremely offensive, like acts that lead us to feel a revulsion, such as incest or child molestation, are taboos. The laws that we already discussed are considered in the norms, and there are two types of law: civil law and criminal law. There are also the subcategories of culture, subcultures and countercultures. Subcultures are the subset of the dominant culture. Like if you see that the biggest culture of Punjabi is main, then there are subcategories of Punjabis. Then there are subcategories of Saraikis too. So counterculture is values or belief in direct opposition to dominant groups. Multiculturalism and assimilation. Multiculturalism supports the value of having different and diverse cultures within a society, and it maintains links with original culture but integrate with new. And assimilation is minority groups adopt patterns of dominant culture, and the Indian Civilization Act attempted to force American Indians to assimilate into white culture, and English only laws, as you see that that compel us to do that all the examination will be conducted in English only. It is a law mainly. Ethnocentrism and cultural relativism. Ethnocentrism is use one's own culture to judge one another. For example, if I have to judge someone else's behavior, so I judge on the behalf of my own culture, and I do not recognize the diversity, that there must be any difference because his or her culture is different, then I do not accept it. It becomes the phenomena of ethnocentrism. Cultural relativism is a deliberate effort to understand other cultures and desire to learn, not judge. Ethnocentrism and cultural relativism. uh, First one is cultural shock. What is cultural shock? For example, a one person went abroad. He went from Pakistan and went to America. The cultural changed, and he the shock that he went through at that time is called the cultural shock. Then comes xenophobia. It is the fear and hostility toward people from other countries or culture. Japanese internment camps during World War II. Xenocentrism is other groups or cultures superior to our own, like foreign cars superior to American cars, or any differences we assumed, or pop culture adds to these beliefs. It is an example of pop culture stereotypes. This magazine advertisement from 1886 sends a clear nationalist message. Then comes cultural diversity. High culture or popular culture. High culture is basically those historically most valued by society, like what we see commonly, like what is the music of Pakistan, the movies, and the art of the specific area. They, like Multan is famous for the Multanic art, and it's also associated with elite of a society too. Popular culture is the ideas, images, products that fall into mainstream of society, like clothing style, television programs, and it associated with middle and working class of the society. Consumerism is encourage purchasing goods and services we may not need, and makes high culture items more accessible to others. And the celebrity culture is that celebrities becomes a brand. As you know that Ronaldo is favoring a brand Nike, and Messi too is just marketing the brand Nike too. Structural functionalist is the one when the society is in a system with parts that work together to fulfill specific function for a whole. Popular culture brings people together, and dysfunction to culture happen when popular culture can distract people from important political or social events, and popular culture sold to us by elites. Fad is the temporary idea that public embraces for a short time. It has four forms, like ideas, activities, objects, and personalities. And fashion, it is a popular trend that is longer lasting than a fad. Technology, creation, and use, and application of knowledge and its interrelation with life, society, and environment, and it inspires change. Cultural lag is material culture changes faster than non-material culture, and processes that lead to technological change are discovery, invention, and diffusion. Discovery is the process of finding or learning about something new. Invention is the process of creating something new. Inventions are created out of existing cultural materials, and diffusion is the process of spreading new discoveries, like inventions and ideas, from one group or society to other group of societies. Globalization and cultural change. Globalization is becoming very high these days. Like the world and its international economy are becoming more and more intertwined. Cultural ideas and practices travel from one nation to another in just seconds now, and create cultural shifts within nations. Cultural imperialism is that dominant culture permeates other nations. Thank you so much.